Oh, oh yeah. So this is an opening I don't really know, but that's okay because I don't really know any openings. I just know them from playing the positions, and yeah, that one I don't play very often. So let me see what makes sense. Well, I'll go with I guess, and yeah, then now you have this horse there. Well, I think yeah. I think I start opening this, and I kind of like this defensive position that you achieve in the Sicilian, um, but that's of course not the Sicilian because you haven't opened with e4. So now you're trying to fianchetto your bishop, okay? Well, I guess I'm activating my knight. Yeah, and the knight is already attacked. I should have seen that, but that's not a problem. I will activate my other knight, put him in the middle. Mhm. So yeah, now you're attacking me there. Um, so yeah, hmm. Well, you can't really push the pawn right now because if you push it, I can just take with my knight. So that's not really a concern for me, but I think I can just come here, put my knight in the center, it's not being attacked, and now I'm attacking your pawn. So you have to, yeah, that's normal. What can I do now? Yeah, I think I'll just uh, move my bishop, thinking about castling. And yeah, great. So now I think I have to go back, otherwise if, or maybe, well, maybe not. No, yeah, I have to go back. I can take, and if I go to say g6 or g4, you can just push your pawns and keep attacking. I think maybe g6. No, I'm not liking this. I'll come back. I'll let my pawns do some work also. Well, yeah, I think I should be thinking of breaking your pawn structure. Now if well, I think I can at least breathe a little now. Even if you push your pawn, uh, yeah, if you push your pawn, I can try to castle queenside, and then just go g6 to attack f5. I think I should be okay. And if you take, well, then I can. So yes, this. Okay, I. Now you're attacking my queen, and yeah. So let's do this. I still have to protect that. Yeah, all are normal. Now I can come here and take. Oh yeah, now yes, that's a fork. All right. So you forked my rook. Yeah, I was thinking about taking on b2, but I don't think that will do anything, because then you can just go rook b1, um, and then I think my queen is toast. Oh well, whatever. Let's just come here and lose my rook. Take. Okay, so how can I counter you now? I mean, well, I think I should start by doing this. This way I can get some tempo going on for me. Yeah, cool. Now I can prevent you from living with my bishop. No, oh yeah, I can. Almost forgot it. So yeah, I kind of have to do this, and it's unfortunate. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, that fork really messed my game up. I can't really do anything against. Can I prevent your knight from ever leaving? Well, if you go here. Well, whatever. I'll have to at least activate my bishop if I want to do anything in the game. Yeah. What do I do? Well, let's try to take the knight at least. As a oh fuck, I didn't see that. I'm always sorry for the. Yeah, so I think that is it. Oh man, that was bad. Yeah. Well, got the knight. Can't really push the pawn. And yeah, that's it.
Perfect. So let's start from the beginning, right? Let's start from c4. You said, well, I don't know what to play against c4, but I don't know what to play against anything. So, okay, we have to figure out a way to play against like most common openings like e4, d4, and c4. Not to say that you have to become a master of them, just to have a line or two where you actually have some confidence about what you're doing. At this point, I would recommend you to play against e4 something like e5, just without a lot of trouble. Trying to get into knight c6 and learning how to play these kind of positions might be useful. Also, against d4, I just created a video on this, on how to play against d4 without studying a lot of theory. I'll just send you the link in a while, so that you have an idea of what do you want to do in the position, and you do not get like crushed or things like that in the opening, which might be useful, right? It's not to say that, oh yeah, learn the theory or whatever, it's just a little bit of ideas. So, c4, right? I like the fact that you played c5 and that you thought, well, this looks a little bit like a Sicilian. This is a symmetrical variation of the English game. So when we're playing c4, c5, here's the thing, right? The idea with c4 is that I want to protect the square d5, right? I want to keep the control over the square d5. And if I want to do so, then I'll try to play knight c3, see how my knight goes to c3 to defend d5, g3, bishop g2 to defend d5, and to control it a lot. So if you're playing this position with the black pieces, what do you think you have to do here?
Well,
like if you play the symmetrical variation.
I figured like, well, going e6, which was what I did, it kind of controls that square of a pawn, so it prevents you moving a piece there. And then I think maybe I should perhaps try to attack your c4 pawn somehow.
Alright. If you're the black pieces here, I'm gonna tell you, because I actually play this variant against c4, like I play c5, right? So let's start from the beginning. When you play c5 against c4, if you're wanting to control the square d4, which is why you play c5, right? Because then you want to do something similar to what the white pieces are going to do. Knight c6, g6, bishop g7, and then surprise, surprise, we're going to fight for d4, and the other guy's going to fight for d5, right? So that it makes it difficult for him to break, right? e6 makes sense, and e6 is a way to proceed, and I'm going to tell you why. Knight c3, knight c6, protecting on d4, protecting on d5. Usually g3 is a way to proceed here. g6, bishop g2, bishop g7, and let's say something like knight f3. Then you can play e6, right? And the idea is that you're going to play your knight to e7, so that it supports your knight on c6, and you can play something like knight d4 in the future. And at the same time, you can castle and play d5, right? This is like some plans that you should consider here, right? Also, in certain positions, people try to play even e5 with d6, knight e7, and then try to bring their pawn to f5 with their king castle here, and maybe h6 and king h7, so that their king is safe. That's another idea that I have used before. But you see, you need to have an idea here. You need to have a plan. I see that there is a lack of planning as well. So I'm gonna send you some links on that as well, so that you can improve things. Another thing that I saw a lot is that you're thinking a lot about your move, but you're not thinking about what the other guy's thinking, right? Like, what's the other guy's answer to whatever you're saying, like to whatever you're thinking. If you're thinking about this move, what's the other guy gonna do, right? You're just saying, well, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But what about the other guy, right? As chess is a game of two players, and you have to be totally thinking about what's gonna happen with the other guy, right? So that's important for us. In this position, I just throw some ideas here which might be useful. And here, let's take a look here, c5, e6. It's just playable. It's not a mistake or anything. It's just okay. G3, because I'm just going to play bishop g2, making it difficult for you to break in the center. Right? Knight c6, makes sense. Nobody dies. Bishop g2, knight f6, makes sense. e4, knight e5. And here we have the first problem. Right? Even though knight f6 made sense, it is not the common way to proceed, at least in the way I play these positions with g6, bishop g7, knight e6, which is what I try to do. Knight f6 makes sense, but this knight e5 doesn't make any sense. Like, you're moving the same piece twice in the opening, and that's something that you do not have to do. Like, usually it's not so good, right? Why? Because whenever you move the same piece twice, what you're doing is that you're not developing the other pieces of the board, right? Sense. So, see how after you move your knight to e5, not only you're moving the same piece twice, but I am gonna play f4, and then your knight has to move a third time, and you haven't accomplished anything, right? Like, if you want to play to break a rule like do not move the same piece twice during the opening, then what do you have to do? You have to try to do something else. But if you are gonna break the rule, you have to have an objective, right? If you're gonna play knight e5 just because, then that's no good, because there is no idea behind it. So see how after knight e5, d3, bishop e7, f4, and now I have an amazing control of the center, right? My pawns are just doing pretty decently. My bishop on g2, my knight on c3. Everybody has control of the center now, and my pieces are just okay. I have moved my pieces just once. My other pieces are just about to go out, and the position is okay. And see how you just move your knight. Yeah, and from b8
Back again.
to c6 to e5 to c6, right?
Yeah, not much.
And what did you win with that?
Lost tempo and that was it.
Exactly. You're losing some tempo here, and that's no good, right? So queen c7, another weird move here. This queen c7, I don't know, I don't like that. The reason why I don't like this queen c7 is because there is a couple of problems with it. Number one, knight b5 might be really annoying, right? In certain positions. See how if I get to play knight b5, I might be generating threats on d6, which is annoying. So you'll see that people play queen c7 in Sicilians, but it's because usually they have a pawn on a6, which is defending b5, and a pawn on e6, which is defending d5, so that the other guy can exploit it. Also, here in this position, maybe a most natural way to proceed might have been just to try to castle, but the problem with that is that I am threatening e5, right? So, like castle, e5, maybe knight e8 here, and your position looks a little bit too, how to call it, too passive, right? Go backwards a little bit, f4, knight f3, queen c7, kind of weird as well. Castle, see how I'm just following the principles of the opening, like the fundamentals, move my pieces out towards the center, moving the same piece once, getting my king out of the center, playing harmoniously, controlling the center, and my pieces are just doing okay. I mean, I'm not breaking anything, I'm just playing normally, nobody dies. Nonetheless, you're breaking a lot of rules here. First rule you broke, do not move the same piece twice. Second rule you broke here is you're bringing your queen out too quickly in the opening, you're not castling, and at the same time you're not finishing your development or controlling the center as much as I am right now. So the problem with breaking the rules is that you can be punished, right? Like, that's a problem of breaking the rules even in real life, right? If you go to, I don't know, if you do something stupid in real life, you can go to jail, and you do not want to go to jail because being free is really cool. So same happens in chess. If you break too many rules, then you can be punished, right? If you break the rules and you know what you're doing, then that's really cool. So e5 here, no good. You're moving the same pawn twice again, you know. And the reason why you moved the pawn was because you thought that you wanted to have control of d5, and now you do not have control of d5. So see how you are breaking so many rules now that there has to exist a tactical way to punish that. There is no way you're gonna go there and you're not gonna be punished because of that. There is whenever you break a lot of rules, tactics appear. So knight d5, forcing your queen to go backwards if you want to protect the pawn on e5, right? Because these are the two guys who are defending. See how even if I do not play knight b5, this is a move that you have to be really careful with, because after I take here, these kind of moves are extremely annoying. See how your queen will be pinned, your knight on e5 looks like you're moving it 4 times. So you're doing this, right? It's, I mean, you're doing something like this, and then you do this. That's no good, right? It's just going in circles. Yeah, it's no good, right? So knight b5, queen goes to b8 because you have to move your queen somewhere. Pawn takes, knight takes, and knight takes, queen takes, bishop f4, and see how what I told you happened. As you do not have a pawn on a6, the knight can go to b5, and the knight on b5 can go to d6 and can go to c7, which are really dangerous squares if you haven't castled yet. So see how now the problem of not having castled before is coming to the light, right? It's coming to be punished, right? Before it wasn't so obvious. In this position it is not so obvious. Like, there's no way for me to kill you right now. But now your king on e8 means that this knight on b5 is coming to c7, it's giving you a check, and it's taking the rook, right? It's a fork. So that's something that you do not want. At the same time, another problem that I'm seeing here is that you're saying, well, okay, My queen is attacked, whatever, what can I do now? And you play queen h5. Well, if you're down, if you're gonna lose a rook, you have to be tricky, you know? Because otherwise I just trade pieces and I am a rook up and I win, right? Because the less pieces that are on the board, the easier it is for me to materialize the advantage in terms of material, or to make the material more evident and to win with that. The more pieces that are on the board, the harder it is for me to win the position. So if you play queen h5, you're trading pieces, right? And making it simple for me. Remember that when you have material advantages, you simplify the position or you trade pieces on the board. So what you want to do is to keep your queen. Maybe queen takes b2 is a way to proceed here. And the reason why is just because you're not trading queens. I mean, that might be dangerous because of rook b1 or rook f2 and your queen seems a little bit trapped. But I think you have to be a little bit tricky here. Otherwise, you're just gonna wind up without a rook, and that's no good. I mean, be tricky, right? Like, if you're losing material, okay, you're losing material. What are we gonna do now? We have already lost the material. Now we have to be tricky, you know? We have to be tricky, we have to be slippery, we have to be kind of that guy who everybody hates, like the guy who is always tricking everybody and that you hate when he tricks you. You have to be that guy, you know? So in this position, queen h5 is not being that guy. You're not being tricky, you're not being slippery, you're not being kind of that guy that everybody hates. You have to be that guy, you know? So in chess, I usually say that people start by saying that they hate the guys who trick them when they're winning, and then you become one of them, you know? So you have to become one of them. So queen takes h5, knight takes, and knight c7, and then you're just a rook down. And this is just gonna wind up like not being good for you. King f8, moving your king somewhere, knight takes, g5, and now, yeah, this position is not gonna fly for you. Everything just starts to fall. Like, here we do not have a lot to analyze because things are just falling apart, right?